So let's discuss our another topic, major major function of our constitution. Here certain functions are given, and for understanding more clearly we should take the help of flowchart. So the first major function of our constitution is it lay out a certain ideal or principle that determines the structure, nature and duties of the government in our country. It means it lay out the ideas. First of all, what is the ideal of our constitution? The ideal of our constitution is that it expresses the aspiration of the people for creating a good society. It is ideal because it is sovereign. Sovereign means where the authorities, means one country is called as a sovereign if it doesn't allow any other country to interfere in their work or in their decision. Then it is a republic. The nature of the government is republic. It means that the head of the state must be elected. Then duties of the government. So what are the duties of the government? It is specified that how the government is to be constitute, how it is formed, how the elections will be held. Then uh, who will have power to take which decision. And it also lay some limits on the power of the government and contains the right of citizens. Then the second major function is it serves as a rule of set as a set of rule and principle that everybody respect and abide by. It means that our constitution bind the people together and gives a feeling of togetherness. Every person is bound with the constitution. It means every person has to follow the rule and regulation whatever given or prescribed in our constitution. They have to respect certain they have to respect the laws, they have to respect the decision of the government, they have to respect whatever the decision taken by the that judiciary or the court. It means they have to respect the government as well as the nation. They have to respect the national anthem. They should stand erect during the uh, singing national song. So these are the that they have to respect and abide by the constitution. Then the next is it prevents the domination of majority over the minority. Now what does it mean? It prevents the domination of majority. Means suppose in India we have many of the minorities group, like uh, according to the population, the Hindu population is more. If we talk about the religion, then uh, other section of the society like scheduled tribe, scheduled caste, they are also comes in minority. So the majority should not be dominated the minority. It ensured by the constitution. Now how the constitution ensure? So there is the provision of reservation system in the government job and education for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and minorities group. Then how to make them more efficient to take the political decision? So for that we have a provision of reserve constituencies. Some of the constituencies are reserved for the purpose of election for these sections of the group which are comes in minority, so that they will also equally participate into the politics. Now another function is that it's guaranteed the right to equality to all the citizens. It means that certain rights are the certain rights are provided, prescribed in our constitution, which gives the equal opportunity to the all citizens. No citizen will be discriminated on any kind of basis. Now, what are the bases on which the people can discriminate and which is restricted by the constitution? So our constitution tell or prescribed that no person of a citizen will be discriminated on the basis of against their ground of religion or race, caste or gender. Means all the people should treated equally. They should have all equal rights. Then our constitution is also defined the nature of a political system. So nature of a political system means that the powers are separate. Three organs are there: legislature, executive, and judiciary. So here the functions and their powers are separated as well as they are limited also, so that no one can apply their monopoly and it protect the government to be a, a dictatorship or to be a monarchy or any other kind of government. If the country has a separation of the power and it is defined properly, it means that the particular area, particular section will be worked as well as they would have limits also. So they will not misuse their power. And in this way, democracy will be smoothly run over there. Now, federation. Federation means the federal system we have. Here the like we have the federal system of society. It means that we have the three level of the government: central government, state government, and local self government. Then it also described that the country political system is a parliamentary system. Parliamentary system means where the people uh, choose their representative, and these representative will elect uh, who are elected by the people. They will form a body called parliament, and then they will run the government or govern the country. The another major function is the power of state and central government are clearly defined. Means what are the limits of the state government, which of the portfolios or which of the this subjects are there, which are defined for the central as well as for the state, or particularly for the state or particularly for the center. So these areas are particularly defined and clearly defined, that what are the powers for the state and the central government. Then next one, it serves the purpose of providing the guidelines that govern the decision making. It means that if the decision making power is given or separation of the power is given, so it gives a guideline also that in what manner the uh, laws will be made. So we have the Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, then Vidhan Parishad and Rajya Sabha. So these are working at the central and state level, which are basically do the work for lawmaking. So it is there is a guideline for these institutions also to take the decision. Then the last is describe the fundamental rights to all the citizens that provide the safeguard. Here, providing the safeguard means the government cannot be apply their monopoly. If in any ways the fundamental rights of the uh, citizens are harassed by anyone or by the government, then citizen of the country can use their fundamental rights and can go against the government too. So these are the major function of our constitution. Now, in concern of the law, we are going to discuss the next topic, that is laws and decent. So in democracy, the laws are actually made for the people welfare and benefits. And when the laws are made, it always keep it in mind that it must be of the people interest. But sometimes the laws do not reflect interest of the people according to the people, then people have a right to protest against them. And many times such type of protest have brought the great change in the laws. So we can say the expression of the protest can be called as dissent. So dissent is very helpful for reshaping the law. Sometimes it happens that the laws are maybe uh, in the favor of particular section of the society, so other people can oppose that one. Or sometime it in the laws which are made by the government can harm the particular section of the society. So in this way people can protest against law. Now to more understand the dissent more clearly, we should take the help of flowchart. So what is dissent? Dissent means having disagreement with the certain rules and regulation. Or we can say that people protest when they disagree by the rule and regulation. So decent, how will we define the decent? Decent means having a disagreement with a certain rule and regulation, and protest is the expression of decent. We can say that the way in which the people protest, that can also called be the decent. Now here we have uh, people protest in the two manner. So we can say that dissents are of two type. So this is constructive dissent and destructive dissent. By the name itself you can understood, constructive means where the things are goes in positive manner, and destructive means in negative manner. So if we want to describe or define the constructive dissent, we can say that protest in a non-violent manner is called a constructive dissent, where there is no harm to the people or a society. For example, silent march, peaceful release, then demonstration through the black flags, unshan, bandh declaration, which is usually done in a silent manner, where people are there but they are in a controlled manner and they do not harm to any of the people or public property. On another hand, we have the destructive dissent. So destructive dissent means that protest in a violent manner is called a destructive dissent. So here the non violent activity which that will be harm to the people as well as the society. For example, riots, when the people do not agree with the decision, sometime it took the shape of riots. Then another is, sometime you may have observed that public properties are set on a fire. We have seen this time in the news that how the people opposed of this NRC and this one, and during that time many of the activities were held in such a manner. Then strikes, then how the strikes are harmful for the society. So strikes, whenever the strikes are conducted, it means that it affect the economy of a country. So in this way strikes, and for long time if the workers goes on strike, so for long time it affects the economy of the country. Then another is railway or traffic jams, under which uh, that people could not be travel wherever they have to go to their destination. So in this way many people life would affect if the traffic jam or railway jam will be there, because there are so many people are there who may have to go for the very urgent for from one place to another for the workplace or for the any of the another medical reason or any of the another reason. So because of these reasons the traffic jam or the railway jam is very much affected to the common people. So that's why it is included into the destructive dissent. So I hope you understand the meaning of dissent and its type. Now let's discuss about the examples which are given here. that is the Vernacular Press Act. Vernacular means regional, it's related to the language. So, Regional Language Press Act. It was a time when the Britishers rule on India, and this was a time when Indian people were educated and they expressed their feelings or disagreement through the news and articles and all that. So till that time, the newspaper were also prevalent, and vernacular press was also started. Means the newspaper were available in a regional language. So uh, when the news and articles were published, so at that time people come to know about the bad policies of the Britishers, and in this way somehow people understood that how the Britishers become a curse for the Indian, and it actually promote them, or we can say that they motivate them to go against the British government. So here uh, the law was established by the Britishers, because somewhere British understood that these newspapers are actually provoke the people against the British government, and because of that the people are rebellion and go against the government. So to stop this, they have brought this act under which they have censored many of the regional newspapers. It means that according to this act, they have this all the Indian newspapers first have to submit its proof sheet before the publication, and then they will decide that whether the news need to be published or not. Under this act, many of the local newspapers were fined, and their editors were in jail. So this was one of the act which was brought by the British government to show disagreement against this. People have shows the dissent. So this dissent was not in a silent manner but in a violent manner. So that can be called as a destructive dissent. So all the prominent leaders of the India condemned the act and demanded for the immediate withdrawal of that. And this act was finally withdrawn after the widespread protest, when it was protested by all over the Indian people. So this was one of the example of vernacular press act. Now another topic is the salt satyagraha. This is also one kind of the dissent. Now what is a salt satyagraha? Salt satyagraha, it is actually a movement which is started by the Gandhiji around 1930. Gandhiji has started one of the movement, that is civil disobedient movement, and the salt satyagraha was one of the part of that. So this protest was uh, done against the decision of the government of the British, who has imposed the taxes on the general commodities like the salt, tobacco, and the other commodities which were actually formed in India, or um, made in India by the Indian resources itself. So the question was that why should we pay the taxes on for our own thing? Salt can be made by anyone, because it is the property of the India itself. And during that time, the British imposed sometime many unnecessarily taxes, and which were somehow burden to the people. So Gandhiji has decided to take the salt as a protest, or we can say the salt as a tool to protest against the British, because it bind the people common to rich people, because it is the need of everyone. So the salt act was started, and for under which this government which was having its monopoly for making the salt, it was break by the Gandhiji. It was started, the Gandhi Dandi March was started from the Sabarmati ashram until the district of coastal district of Dandi. They have marched with a many number of the people, and it took around 14 days to reach over there, because the distance was also very uh, very much over there, around 400 kilometers something. So this large number of the people, the march which was took place, it was followed by the Gandhiji. uh, and Gandhiji was the main leader, and all the other follower has followed him. This was actually the historical Dandi March, which was done in a very peaceful manner. But the Britishers has opposed this, and they have conducted the lathi charge on these people. But then also the people were not stopped, and Gandhiji has break the law. He has for make the law, make the salt at the seashore, by showing this that we are not obeying your laws which you have made. So Satyagraha was against the salt tax, which was continued for almost a year. And the same Satyagraha was there in other part of the India also, at the coastal area. At the same time, more people has gone for the march. So this was not only the end, but it actually realized to the British that the people of India now no more will consider their monopoly. So I hope you understood this topic, that is laws and decent. This was actually the last topic. Now, uh, question answers will be given as a homework for the summer vacation, and you have to complete in your class of copy.